We covered not giving up in the close, pushing hard until they either hang up or buy.
I think I need that a little bit more, establishing the need towards the end. I wasn't able to get on and participate yesterday. Sorry.
That's okay. It's all right. I know you were listening. Did anybody find success using that yesterday? Reiterating the why three times on a phone call and establishing the need as you're giving quotes. Did
I
anybody
wish we
notice
had
success?
recorded that call you and I were on yesterday, Josh. You were textbook, man.
The why is pretty much how you develop the need, right? And then
Yep.
so you is it more like asking the questions, or I wanted to get more a little more specific.
Um, the easiest so there's a fine line. I've noticed that when I train on needs analysis, people take it too literal and they just ask the questions. They don't have a conversation. They make it an interrogation, not a conversation.
Yeah.
One thing that I've noticed on my SBC calls is I just genuinely have a conversation on what they're looking for. One thing that I have noticed that helps me is a website called Funeralocity. Does anybody else use Funeralocity?
all the
Yes.
time, all the time.
Okay.
I've
I
been
have,
breaking down the costs too. It
yes,
shows it on there.
I have found that whenever I give them exact numbers, so just so for anybody that doesn't know,
I did that with a
somebody,
lady the other day.
oh,
She was like, "Oh, my brother said I don't need it." Da, da, da. I'm like, "Okay. I mean, what are you planning to do? Like cremation, funeral?" Like, "Oh, cremation." I'm like, "Yeah, it's gonna cost this for this much, this for this much." The county won't give you anything, so Social Security for 255. She's like, "Oh, maybe I do need it. Maybe, I guess. You tell me."
um, somebody give me a city and state that they're in right now.
Port St. Lucie, Florida.
Florida, and then I come over here and I just go traditional full service burial. I don't even look at these numbers. These mean nothing to me. I come right down here and I go, okay. And I always use this as my low end. This is my low end. This is my low end. This is my low end, right? So if I was talking to Daphne, I'd say, okay, so Daphne, from what I can see for a full service burial, this is going to include, and I'll give them a whole bunch of stuff. This is going to include transportation, embalming, casket, flowers, service, opening and closing of the grave, the plot, the tombstone, the graveside service. You are looking at $8,385 on the low end for a basic funeral, all the way up to $13,760 on the high end for the more expensive funerals. Okay, so what I would suggest, Miss Daphne, is we look somewhere in the middle. So I would probably suggest at a minimum probably an $11,000 policy. Now, Miss Daphne, you're only 72 years young, so we definitely want to plan for the future. You don't want to do this again when you get into the 80s. So instead of 11,000, I would say 15,000 would be the minimum. That would cover a basic funeral for the rest of your life. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So we know that we need about a minimum of a 15,000. And then what are your secondary goals? Are we wanting to leave money behind for the kids as a gift or an inheritance? Are you wanting to leave money behind for the grandchildren? Or are you just focusing on making sure that they don't have that financial burden of the funeral?
Leaving
You
money
got,
behind for the grandchildren.
okay, perfect. So we got the grandchildren as well. And how many grandchildren do you have?
5.
Five. What's your oldest? What's your youngest?
The oldest is 12 and the youngest is 5.
Okay. All right. So Miss Daphne, if I were to give you $1,000 right now, it wouldn't make a major difference to your day-to-day life. Do you agree with me on that?
Yeah, but it would make a difference to them.
Yeah. If I gave you $1,000 when you were 16, probably make a lot bigger of a difference than it would today at your
Absolutely.
age, right?
Hmm.
So let's look at about $1,000 each to leave them an extra $1,000 for each of the five. And then we'll also look at $2,000 a piece, $3,000 a piece, and $4,000 a piece. And I'll go over those different options with you to give you the ability to leave them that extra money if you would like to, and it's affordable to you. Fair enough?
Yep. How do you
Okay.
do that? How do you do that? The 2, 3, and 4 each? How do you do that?
So we know that we need 15,000 for the funeral, right?
Yep.
So 20,000 would be an extra five. That's $1,000 a piece.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Yeah.
25,000, right? And
Yep.
that's how I'm selling it now. You guys following me?
Yep.
So that's how I established the why and the need. And now it's a clear picture of what it's going to do. So when I get to the quote and I go 35,000, I know 15,000 is for the funeral, Miss Daphne. And
Yep.
then that leaves us 20,000 for the five grandkids. So this will cover your funeral and leave each of your five grandbabies $4,000 a piece.
Yep.
If you wanted to leave them that much, that would only be $386 a month if you wanted to leave them that much.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you wanted to leave them $3,000 a piece, that would be the $30,000 plan. This would cover your funeral completely and then leave them 3,000 bucks each to do that for them. If you wanted to leave them that much, that's only $294 a month. Notice how I'm quoting here, guys. You guys following me? I'm breaking down what the death benefit does. It's building value. They are no longer picking the price. They are picking, well, let's do the $2,000 a piece in the funeral covered. Let's do the $3,000 a piece in the funeral covered. Now they're picking what it does versus what the price is. Make sense?
Yeah.
All right.
So it's important
That's
So
to
a
that's
good
how
know
I
what they
tool.
use
want to do,
that's how I
like
use
if they want to
funeral
do
velocity, and
cremation.
that's how I established a need by having that conversation in my needs analysis. Make sense?
Yeah. So it's important to
Works
make sure that
wondrous.
they say cremation or funeral or whatever, so we can get pricing for them.
Even if they don't, right? Even if they're like, well, I'm not sure, I'll say, okay, so let's look at enough to cover a burial cost. That way, if you decide to go cremation, the family has money left behind.
I gotcha. That makes sense.
Leaving? Give me a kiss. All right. So that's how I establish the why, and that's also how I quote every time that I quote. Okay. Any questions on that?
So during the presentation,
Okay.
you just pretty much try to build all that up.
Next thing for you guys is this. If I told you guys, if I said to you, if you do 5 hours of talk time for 365 days a year, for 1 year, you did 5 hours of talk time for 365 days out of the year, and I would pay you $200,000 to $300,000. Who would do it?
I would.
Me.
Okay. What happens if something comes up though? What happens if you get sick, and if you miss one day, you don't get it? You got 365 days to do it, but you get sick. You have kids, they get sick. You have parents and grandparents, they get sick. You have an emergency come up. But you have to do it for 1 year for 365 days, and I'll pay you 250 grand. Who would
Gotta
still
push
do it?
through.
Push through?
Yeah.
Is there anybody that, be honest? No, I wouldn't do it then. Who would do it no matter what? 250 grand. Other than death in the family. Just sickness, illness, emergencies, stuff like that. Other than death. Death is understandable, but anything other than death happened that year. Would you push through?
I would try.
You would try? Okay. I would. I would make sure that I handled my business and then I'd work until midnight. Right? So, with that being said, activity is key. And Mr. Malik is a perfect example of this. And so is Franklin, really. Um, so's John, really. There's actually quite a few of you guys. Let me stop capping here. There's quite a few of you guys that are really, really good examples of this. When the activity is at a certain level, it makes it dang near impossible to fail. It like literally makes it almost impossible to fail. For those of you that hit 5 hours every day, am I lying when I say that?
Nope.
John, Malik,
No, you're not
Franklin?
lying. No.
Nope, that's true.
That's true, right? I'm not just saying something to make it
No,
happen, right? I'm speaking honest here, right?
right.
Yeah.
When you hit that 5 hours every day, guys, it gives you so much skill set that you have no choice but to get better. I forget who I was talking to about this, but I'm a big metaphor trainer. For those of you that have been with me long enough, you know that I train with metaphors. I want you to imagine it's your first day on the job and you're a carpenter. And the master carpenter comes up to you and he says, all right, I want you to hammer this nail into the wood, but I only want you to lift your hammer up 6 inches and hit it. 6 inches and hit it. 6 inches and hit it. 6 inches and hit it all day for 5 hours. You're going to miss a few times. Agreed? The nail's not going to go but maybe a millimeter in because you're only bringing it up and you're only using a little bit of power every time as well, right? If you did that for 1 week, though, by the end of the week, you're going to be pretty dang good at lifting that hammer up at 6 inches and hitting that nail every single time with consistency. Agreed? Compared to when you started. The next week, that same master comes to you and he goes, okay, you can hit the nail 99 out of 100 times, lifting it 6 inches. Now I want you to do it from 1 foot. 1 foot, bam, bam. You're going to miss some more. Agreed? Because now the hammer's coming up higher. You might hit it. After a week of doing that nonstop, now two things are happening. Every time you make connection with the nail, it's going further in. Agreed? Because you're coming up from a higher level. You're also going to be hitting it by the end of the week more times than not, which means, again, 99 out of 100 times. The next week, he trains you on how to take a full swing on that nail and hit it. If any of you guys have never tried hammering a nail before, when you take a full swing, you miss. For any of you guys that have not done it before, you are missing and you are hitting the board. But if you do that all day, every day for 1 week, what happens? You start hitting it more often than not, right? And now when you make a connection, when you actually hit that nail, you're driving it into the wood. Agreed? From a full swing. And you do that nonstop. Eventually, you become good enough to where you can hit that nail into that wood with 1 or 2 swings. That is what that consistency does for you here at this job. If you make a presentation, you make a presentation, you make a presentation, and then you're done. You made 3 presentations or you dialed 100 people. You're not getting the repetition in enough to maximize your efficiency at that one thing. When you do it nonstop for 5 hours of talk time a day, and then you multiply that by 7 days, 14 days, 21 days, 28 days, the only thing that's going to happen is you are going to get better at doing that. Make sense? So your success falls into 2 people's hands. It falls into your hands for activity. Okay? So if the activity is not there, there's only one person that you can blame if this does not work out for you, and that is who?
Ourselves.
Yourself, right? And I'll be honest, 5 hours should be a minimum. Anything under 5 hours and you're prolonging. You're literally just prolonging how long it takes you to get good at this. And that's just me being 100% honest. There's a reason that we say 5, and it's because we want you to hit 7, right? So 5 hours should be a minimum every day. There's a second person that it counts on to be for you to be successful, and who is that? Who's the second person?
Coach.
Jesus Christ.
Coach.
Me. You can call me Yeshua if you want to. Me. Okay. So if your activity's there, then it's my job to train you and teach you everything I know on how to be a successful agent. Okay. I do not like to fail. Failing is not in my vocabulary. So if you're hitting your targets, I will make sure to go out of my way to make sure that you get your sales. Okay? I will hop on your call first. I will make sure I pull you for a one-on-one. I will make sure that we do a call recording training. I will make sure on Saturdays when there's less people and you're here, I'm paying attention to you, right? You know how your mom always used to tell you there's no favorites? No, there's no favorites. I love all of you guys equally. You guys remember when your mom or dad used to say that if you have multiple brothers and sisters?
Yeah,
Okay.
she
So
lied.
the love is equal for everybody. I love all of you guys equally, but there's favorites, and the favorite is the one that had, or the 1 or the 10 that have the higher talk time. Those are the favorites, right? Because those are the people that want it as bad as I do. And that's who I'm looking to surround myself with. And that's who you guys should be looking to surround yourself with. When you look at your peers and you go, all right, then they got an hour and a half of talk time. 100 dials, 200 dials. Okay. Oh, wait, this person over here has got 650 dials and 6 hours of talk time. Let me go sit with that person. You guys following me? So activity is key, is the moral of the story. I want to see everybody be successful, but it has to be in your hands before it's in mine. Okay? Hit
Are you
your
saying
target.
Malik's your favorite?
I'm saying I do have favorites.
I'm
I'm
joking. I'm
not saying
joking.
That's
Malik
fun.
is my
Malik's
favorite.
killing
I'm just saying, I'm saying for this week, he's definitely at the top. Right?
Good job, Malik.
But there's several of you guys, right? So I can have more than one favorite at the same time. There's several of you guys that on a Friday morning are over 20 hours of talk time, which is where you should be at on a Friday morning. Um, 4 hours is decent. 4 hours isn't bad. If you're over 16, you're doing all right. But you should be over 20. You should be over 20 realistically. So on that note, make sure that your activity's there. If your activity's there, I will make sure that you get sales. My job is to make sure you get sales with an hour, 2 hours of talk time, 3 hours of talk time, 4 hours of talk time, 5 hours of talk time. It doesn't matter what your talk time is. My job is to help you close deals regardless, and I will do that. Trust me. Um, the problem is there's not enough time for it to be a consistent thing. So give me the best ability possible to make sure that you are making money. Okay. With that being said, what day is today?
Friday.
Friday.
A lot of us, well, not me no more, but a lot of people are used to a 9 to 5 type of job Monday through Friday. What is when you used to work a 9 to 5 job and it was Friday, what was your favorite part about a Friday?
The end of the day.
Last
The
day
end
of the
of the
week.
day, your
Yes.
last day of the week, right? This is not a 9 to 5. This is your
But here it's not the
business.
last day of the week.
No, this
Mm-hmm.
is your
That's right.
business, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
So you think Publix goes, oh, I can't wait until 6 o'clock so I can close for Saturday and Sunday? Publix? No. You think Walmart's like, oh man, it's Friday. Woohoo. We are not open tomorrow. No. Why? Because they're a successful business, right? When you're a business owner, there is no Friday evening. It is Monday through Sunday. Sometimes you got to take a break, but it's Monday through Sunday and you're growing your business. So don't hop out of here at 6 o'clock today and go, well, it's Friday. I'm going to take the day off early, right? If your targets are hit, enjoy. You deserve it, right? If you're at $1,500 paycheck coming next week. Enjoy your Friday and your Saturday and Sunday. You earned it. You put in the work. You earned it. If that's not there, though, don't cut yourself short just because the day is Friday. Cut yourself short whenever your targets are hit. Following me? And I'm just giving you guys tips that I used when I was dialing, that I know can be successful. And again, my job as your coach is to teach and train. And this is part of it, teaching you and training you how to have the mindset of a business owner. Okay? All right, guys. Who's ready to have a big day again?
Woo!
Whoa.
I'm
That
real
was
one.
kind of
Nah, I'm
sad.
in. Yeah,
That was
let's get it done.
really sad, guys.
Yeah.
I almost cried.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I had a tear come down my eye just now. Let's
Josh is
try
like,
that again.
Josh is like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna start dying myself.
You gotta
Oh
ask
my
that question
God.
when we're not all muted, you know?
Who's ready to have a big day today?
Let's
Let's
go.
go for
Let's
it.
go.
I
Let's
am, I
Gators.
am, I
Oh,
am.
I
Let's hear
am.
it.
I am. Thanks God. Thank
All
you,
right,
God.
who's ready to get their first sale today?
Let's
Where's our
go.
newbies at?
Yeah, right here.
Let's
Yay!
go.
That would be a great day.
Let's go. All right, guys. Whew, you guys, I was sweating there for a second. Gosh. All right, let's have a big day on the count of three. We're going to get a 3, 2, 1, add a comment on my paycheck. We're going to say it like we mean it. 3, 2, 1.
Add a
Add a
comment
comment
to
to
my
my
paycheck.
paycheck.
Hey,
Yes.
check.
The day. But we're about to make it better for tomorrow because we're about to do a training. All right.
Okay.
So there's one training that I have learned that helps every single person in here, and that is a call recording training. Okay. So we're going to pull some calls from some agents, listen to them, break them down, give them feedback, pros and cons of what they did. I found that if one agent is making a mistake, every agent is making the same mistake, probably, or at least majority. And there will be enough mistakes and good things on a phone call where everybody can gain some nuggets. Sound good, guys?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So what I'm going to do is I have a list of agents that hit talk time last week. They are going to get the special treatment, and we are going to listen to their calls. That way they can get real life training on what to do differently or what they did good, okay? So the list of agents that I have, and I'm going to base it off of who's here and who is okay with me doing it, wherever my list went.
No,
Here we
not me.
So
I'm
we
joking.
got Abu, Kim. I'll start off with you two because you guys are at the top of my list. Abu or Kim, if either one of you guys want me to listen to your calls. If not, I'm moving on to the next two.
Move on, child.
All right. Franklin and Bernard. Franklin, Bernard. Okay. Connor and Alex. Alex or Connor. Okay. All right. Dennis and Daphne. Dennis is on a call. Daphne's not here. John or Rico.
I don't mind. Go ahead.
All right, there we go. Thank you, Rico. For those of you that I passed by your name, I'm going to pick on you for a second. Abu, Kim, Franklin, Bernard, Connor, Alex, Dennis, John. John, he might have just beat you to, or you might not be connected. But let me just share something, guys. I would have died as an agent to have Zach listen to my calls to give me feedback. Treat this as if this is golden time, okay? Because having a coach dive in and break down your call, that is the easiest and fastest way to get better. All right, so Mr. Rico, let's listen.
That's not me.
All right.
I believe you.
Let me call recording, and then let's do, how many presentations did you get on today, Rico, that I was not on your call with you?
I tried to get you all of them. I know you and I did 5 or 6, and I think you were in all of them.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go last week because I don't think I got to you enough last week. Come on, quit doing that.
Let me know if it answers you back.
Now I have to say, there's been a couple like late at night. For one, I'm tired, and two, that I didn't even fight him. You know, I have the loop right in front of me. I didn't even start, but I think one or two of the three, I didn't really try to do the loop just because they already had policies. They were just trying to add. But one for sure, she didn't have anything. I just didn't have it in me. She was my last call, and just like, okay, call me later.
Okay, so I'm gonna go to last week. All right, here we go. All right, so 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 hour 34 seconds. Melody Cooney. Give me 2 seconds.
That's the one. Oh no, that's not it. That's not it.
It's no matter, Rico. It's going to help us learn no matter
Oh, I
what.
know, I know.
That's
No
right.
judgment from any of us.
No, no, do it. Break it down.
No, he could do that.
Yeah.
I have no room to talk right now. These B leads in Ohio are killer. Nobody wants to
Oh,
talk
I
to
have
me.
a good one. I do well with the B leads in Ohio, actually.
Do you?
Yeah,
I've
that's
had
like my favorite state for B leads.
Yeah, there's been a few I've gotten close with, but a lot of them get cold feet when it comes time to talk about banking information. It's like,
Oh,
come
gotcha.
on, guys.
All right, I'm back. Melody Cooney. Let's listen. It's a long call. Let me see if I can find one more that's like 55 minutes instead. Hour and 16. What about Casey? Kesse.
I don't remember the one. That's another long call. I was frustrated because I didn't try again. I was tired. It was I think her name was uh, I think it was Melody Cooney.
Okay. We're gonna just listen to that then. Um,
Hello?
Hello, Miss Melody.
Yes.
Hey, Miss Melody, this is Rico. How you doing? I'm with Senior Life Services.
Right.
Yeah, the reason I'm calling is because a while back, it looks like you spoke with one of our company's representatives. It was about the state-approved final expense burial program, and you mentioned that your son is your beneficiary, and that your favorite color is turquoise. Does that ring a bell, ma'am?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
perfect. Alrighty. You mentioned that you were born in 1952. Is that accurate?
Yes.
All right, perfect. And you are in the state of Oklahoma, correct?
Yes.
Good. All right. Well, thank you for verifying all of that with me. You didn't mention if you were married or single here. It looks like you had filled out the section for yourself only. So were you applying for yourself only, ma'am, or for you and someone else?
I'm widowed.
Widowed. Oh, okay, let me put that. Sorry about that. Widowed. Okay. Well, let me tell you a little bit about our program. What we have is it is a life insurance policy, but when I mention that, most people think about a large insurance policy and expensive ones. That's not what we have at all. What we have is just a small, affordable, permanent whole life insurance policies. They are regulated by the state of Oklahoma. And also, they're especially designed for people who live in a limited or fixed income each month. Like if you have Social Security, or if you're on a disability, or even if you're one of our disabled veterans, this product is perfect for someone in that situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you said your son is your beneficiary, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so he would be the one looking out for your final arrangements, handling your final affairs if he were to pass, God forbid.
Yes.
Okay. Does he know that you're doing this for him? I mean, have you guys talked about you getting a policy like this?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Is this something that we should have him out on the phone with us, or is this a decision you can make on your own?
I don't need him on the phone.
Okay. No, we just have to ask. We work with a lot of people. Believe it or not, they're very old, and so they help with our financing and their decision making. So I'm asked to ask everyone that. So
Right.
anyhow, so that would a program like this be the first money that your son?
Very good buffer there, Rico. Very good buffer. Somebody had mentioned that they get hung up there a lot of times when they ask that question. I forget who exactly it was, but that was a very good buffer. Hey, we deal with a lot of elderly people. That's why I asked that question, and not to be offensive to you, but, that is the reason why. Great buffer.
Let's see if you were to pass, or if do you already have something similar in place, like another life insurance or a prepaid burial plan?
No.
No, this would be the first then?
Yeah.
Okay. So when did you start looking into this? I'm kind of curious.
I don't know, the last few months, I guess.
Okay. All right. Just to make sure that we're on the
All right. So, Mr. Rico, can everybody grab their script for me?
I jumped.
Yep, we jumped ahead here, right? You started going right into your fact-finding needs analysis and trying to figure out a lot of information a little bit too early on. Save that for lower down in the script. Build some rapport with this person first, because if you ask those questions right there, you're going to get very nonchalant answers, right? Oh, I'm just getting older. Oh, you guys called me, right? You're going to get those types of answers if you ask that too soon in the conversation. So right here, we're about, I don't know, 3 minutes in. Let me see. 3 minutes in, right? That's not a question that you're going to get an honest answer to at that point in the call. So save those questions for a little bit later. Go into your report building.
same page, because we are brokers. We work with more than one insurance company. We work about with 15 companies, and so my job is just to return people's inquiries and then find out your situation. It's based on your age and also your health, and then I'll match you up with one of the carriers that we work with, and hopefully someone will approve you and give you the best plan as well as the best price for your situation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Perfect. All right. Let me take a look here. So are you still working, Ms. Melody? Or are you retired, living the dream, disability, SSI? How's that working?
Yes, I'm retired and just have Social Security.
Retired. Okay. Perfect.
I'm going to pause this a lot because there's a lot of nuggets in here that a lot of people can take away from, okay? So right there, if you noticed, what happened there was you started trying to sell too early into the call, right? You're trying to sell, hey, if we can get you approved, I'm going to try, my goal is to try to find you a plan. I'm going to work with 15 different companies, right? You're trying to sell way too soon in the call, and it's going to cause, what that's going to do is it's going to cause you to have to, instead of trying to have a conversation and find out and solve a problem, now you're trying to sell a product, okay? You want to avoid selling a product and more so solving an issue. Is that making sense to you guys?
Yeah.
You're
Can I
not
can I
selling a
say
product,
something
you're
at this
solving a
point?
problem.
What my
Yeah,
mentality
say it.
is?
Yeah.
Yeah. My thought was just sometimes I feel like we're not on the same page. So I say that just so I know and reiterate. Okay, this is the type of plan that we have. And so maybe I'm just saying it wrong, but I just wanted to make sure that we're on the same page and they know what type of product we have and what I'm trying to do here.
I get the reasoning behind it. It's valid. It's a valid thought process on what you're trying to do. Although that can lead to more issues than solutions.
Okay,
Okay.
I got you.
So again, I would avoid trying to sell too soon. Focus mainly on right here in
Rapport.
this. Again, you're too early in to have this conversation at this point, right? We're only 4 minutes and 25 seconds into the call, and we're already trying to sell a little bit. Here, we should be building up some rapport, finding out their situation, and then save all of this stuff for your fact-finding needs analysis. All right, because all of this information, everything that you're saying here is gold. The way that you're wording it, how you're putting it, your tonality on how you're having this conversation. All of this is really, really good. Save it for a little bit later on in the script, okay?
Okay.
What did you used to do
I was a legal assistant for Aetna Insurance.
for insurance?
I worked for the law department of Aetna.
Okay, wow. We actually have we represent Aetna. Well, they have. It's not Aetna itself. They actually have sort of like someone under what's called a Patriot program. It is one of our. It's by American Home Life. Have you heard of them?
No.
Oh, okay. Because that's actually an Aetna product. Aetna is the money behind
Was I
that.
on this
I thought you
call?
might know.
feel like I was.
Yeah.
How long ago did you retire?
Oh,
Rico, do you know
Quite
if
a
I
while ago.
joined this call?
Oh, a while ago. Enjoying his
No,
life?
you didn't.
Retired life? Is that what it's all cracked up to be?
yes, it is.
No, my wife is retired, and that's why I'm asking. And so she's thankfully we finally have our first grandchild, and so that's gonna we moved from California to Georgia to kind of help out with our grandchild, and that's what keeps her busy. Otherwise, she would have been.
All right. Rico just did something by the book, textbook, beautiful right there. So for those of you that have a hard time building rapport on a natural basis, right? For those of you that really struggle with this section, because there's a lot of agents that do, what he did is he asked a question, right? Hey, are you retired? And then what did he do as soon as he got his answer?
Relate with
He
his
shared.
personal, he relate with.
Yep. So you nailed it, Masamet. You nailed it, Shamari. So he shared something about himself to relate with the client. And what that does is that immediately builds up a trust with you and the client, right? If they know about you and who you are as a person, do you think their chances of buying from you go up?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're not going to get a whole lot of, I don't give out my social over the phones, or, I really don't feel comfortable giving my bank account information. You're not going to get those types of objections if you do that on your phone calls. You have to be willing to share something, because if you're going to ask a question to the client, be prepared to share something about yourself with them as well. It's only fair, right?
Mhm.
All right, beautiful.
Going out of her mind, just trying to find something to do.
Well, that's a great thing, to get those grandbabies.
I know, and our daughter is going to have our second one actually in May. So this time it's a boy, so now we're going to have a girl and a boy. Our son, the older, the older boy, he unfortunately he's 44 years old and he's taking his time. So one of these days, we're not counting on him. It's taking a while for him. I think he's just still sowing his oats. So
Yeah.
yeah. So
Well, it's better than jumping into something that is not for women it's more of a situation
yeah, with age.
yes with our age there's men making babies at 70 where that doesn't work for us.
Yeah, but they can't lift up the baby.
Yeah.
So wait till then. Actually, he told me. Yeah, he told me a long time ago. He goes, it seems like all you hear about is people getting married and then getting divorced after a few months or a few years. I can't do it. So I was like, okay, well, whatever you want to do. But it makes sense. It makes sense. So how about you? Do you have any grandkids?
Yes, I have 4 grandkids.
Oh my goodness. How old are they?
Well, the youngest one is 19.
Oh
and
my.
it's Jordan, Josh, Jenna, and Jenna Marie. So,
the Jays, huh?
yes.
Well,
So,
we can't really compare notes then. Oh, unless you remember how it was when they were little.
Oh yes, I've
Remember them all?
I moved here from Connecticut to Oklahoma because that's where my son was stationed in the military, and and then all the when he went to Germany, I went over to Germany to visit them, and all the military bases that he went to, I would go to visit him. But luckily, he got stationed here at Fort Sill in Oklahoma, and finished his 20 years or 27, whatever it was. And,
wow. Please tell him. Thank him for his service. Please do.
I'm so grateful he came back with all his pieces and
yeah. I know, right?
No stress disorder, and
yeah. What did he do? What was like?
He was a mechanic for the military.
That's good. Maybe he's gonna safer, I guess, huh? He didn't have to go out too much. That's good.
Yeah, he saw some action in some of the different bases that he was at, and I mean he went to Germany, he went to other countries, and
wow.
Yeah.
Did he ever go to the Philippines?
I met his wife in the Philippines.
Oh, is she Filipino?
Well, yes. He was in Germany, and she had came to Germany to get a job and send money home to the Philippines. She was the oldest of the 6 children.
Wow.
There was no mother. The father was blind. Huh?
I'm from Cebu City.
Oh, well, she's where I got a daughter-in-law and a granddaughter. No, when he married her.
Oh, okay.
She was in Korea, working there to make money to send home to the family. The mother had left. The father was blind, and she was the oldest child at the time. And met my son there, and they've been together for 20-something years now.
Yeah, that is awesome. Good story.
Yeah.
That sounds so familiar to me, those type of stories. Because it was always like that, Except thankfully, it was kind of the opposite with my family. My mother came to America first, and then the kids followed, and my dad followed after that, because it was taking...
Yep.
I
That's
was
why
really
I
proud
moved
of being
here.
a Filipino until you said that.
No, most Filipinos I have met are very, very nice people. But
All right. So I fast forwarded a little bit. We were, just to give you some context, we were at 16 minutes, and then I just skipped to 28 minutes. Still talking about Philippine, right? Philippines. So what happens here, and this is a great example, there is a fine line between not enough report and too much report. When you have too much report, so two things. When you don't have enough report, it's very hard to get the trust to close the deal. Everybody agree with that? If you don't have enough report, they don't like you, it's hard to close that deal. When you have too much report, it has the same effect because it's hard for you to push somebody into doing something if you have so much rapport with them. For an example, her and Rico are hitting it off. We're at 28 minutes. This is a 10-minute difference, and we're talking about Filipinos still, right? So if you think about this right now, if Mr. Rico at the end of this call tries to push her into a program, what is the response he's going to get from her? Who can tell me?
I'm not interested.
She's gonna be tired for at the end of it.
She's just going to say, now you're being pushy.
Yeah,
Why
that
you being
makes
pushy,
sense.
Rico?
That makes a lot of
Right?
sense.
And the reason for that is because you're going from so nice of a guy, now you need her to do something, which means you're going to talk her into it. And sometimes you have to say some things that might be a little harsh, but the truth, right? And if you do that, which that's what it takes to close some of these deals, you're going to get, you're being too pushy. I don't like to be pushy. And as soon as you get that, you're going to back up because now you're going to have such an awkward pit in your stomach of now I'm ruining a relationship when realistically there shouldn't be a personal relationship there. You following me? It should be a business relationship. So the information that you gather and the report that you built, you do want to share some stuff about yourself, but you keep it to a sentence to 2 sentences, enough to share something where they understand who you are as a person, but not enough to where you become so much of a friend that you cannot push them into a close. Follow me, guys? This is a perfect example of that. Great report, just too much of it. Okay? And that might be something that you might be finding, Rico, on a reason. This may be the exact reason that you're not closing as many deals, and it's because you're great at building a report. You're just building way too much.
Too much. Okay.
Keep your phone call. Keep this short, right? At this time, 10 minutes in, we should be we're at 28 minutes into the phone call. Now we should be in health. We should already be past fact finding and into health at this point. Okay?
Oh, I thought so.
Yeah.
Is there a big Filipino community in Oklahoma?
The three-family house across the street, and I wound up moving over to there, which was really really kind of strange because my husband is across the street.
Yeah,
we're not divorced yet, and so Sal, who's a little Italian guy, and I'm 5'3", so.
And do we wear like 16 or the football players? But the back numbers, how's that? So on the left side there of the paper.
Would you like to dance? Get out of here. No, you're not kidding me. Are you kidding me? He starts to cry. He said, you're not. I don't know what to say, and I said.
I told her, like, you got to quit because I'm not going to buy these for you. For a while there, she would ask me to buy while I was out, and she would always hide it. On my way home, oh, honey, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, can you stop by? Like, you always catch me. You know my schedule. You always catch me. You know what I mean?
Well, my husband worked in the 4-car garage, and there was always guys in there in the garage. And then, and they would go to the bar afterwards and have a couple.
All right, we are now 50 minutes into the phone call. Okay? So I'm glad that we picked you, Rico, and I'm glad that we're doing this, right?
Thank you. Yep. I'm glad too.
This is the reason that you're not getting 2 sales a day, 3 sales a day. It has nothing to do with how good you are at sales. It has the fact that you're building too much rapport with your clients, right? It's an hour and 36-minute phone call. We're at 50 minutes in. By now, we should be either closing the deal or moving on.
Yep.
Agreed? So you do an amazing job at it. A lot of people struggle with this. So this is a fine line because a lot of people cannot build rapport. They cannot find a common ground with their client. You have the opposite issue, okay? Cut your conversation shorter. If you catch yourself going back and forth more than twice, right? So if you ask me a question and I give you an answer, you share something, I ask you a question, you give me an answer, right? And you notice that that goes back and forth more than twice, time to move the conversation down the road. Okay? Keep a conscious effort of that, okay?
Okay. Yep.
Years. Well, that's where I met him. I was I met a lady at a New Year's Eve party, and
And they would wear like 16 of the football players, but the basketball players are millions of dollars every single month to families. So
50, 20 something now.
yeah,
George, Josh, and Jenna Kim.
yeah.
So,
Wow.
yeah, there's a herd of them.
You must. Do you have? Are they close by yourself? I mean, do you have like a big holiday bash? Each time you guys have a during the holidays.
Yeah, my son has this amazing man cave, so they come up there for the holidays, and,
that's
we,
awesome.
go to, everybody wants you to come to their house and see their tree and their decorations and all that stuff. So we, I'm just like tell my son, whose house are we going to this time,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's best like that. That way, let them clean up. Let them clean up. That's how my wife and I are now. Just go out. Before we used to host all the parties, and after they're done, clean up and stuff like that. So now we're at the point where we just go to where they are. That way they. So, but
isn't it your turn? Isn't it your turn this year?
Yeah. Well, after that. Well, so do you have a pen and paper? I want to give you my information and then give you some options. Is that okay?
I have one right here.
Okay. I'm gonna put a couple of stars in your name. I have lots of notes under your name.
Like, make her stop talking.
No, not at all.
Even she realizes.
So let me give you my name first. And that's Rico, R-I-C-O.
Okay.
And my last name is Castillo, or Castillo, C-A-S-T-I-L-L-O.
Right.
And my cell phone number is 916
916
934
934
3146.
3146.
And then
934 3146.
Correct. Yeah, let me give you another number. This next number is called the national producer number. It's not a phone number. It's just a number. It's sort of like my license number. And what it is that if you decide to look me up a little bit, if you want, look me up in the national insurance website or the Oklahoma insurance website, and you put it up, and you'll see that I am who I say I am. My license is active, and that I'm legit and not a scam. So
all right.
It's called the national producer number, and that is 37 40 76.
213-740-76.
Correct. Yeah. And so let me get some health information from you, so I'll give you some options. So, what's your situation? Do you have any history of any like heart, liver, kidney, lung issues?
No.
No. Oh, awesome. You sound really healthy.
All right. Minute and 10, or an hour and 10 minutes. Okay. So I know I keep harping on this, but just cutting that down massively. You don't want to cut it down to where you're not building any report, but you definitely want to. Everybody grab a pen and paper if you don't have one out already. I'm going to give you guys some time frames, okay? And these are the ideal time frames that you want to be at, not shorter, not longer. 5 minutes, give or take, on any of these. Okay. You want to be at the health around, say, 25 minutes in. Remember, give or take 5. So by 20 to 30 minutes in, okay? You want to be in your presentation probably, I would say, around 33 minutes, 33 to 35 minutes in. You want to be in your presentation.
The quote, you mean?
No, presentation. Presenting what you're selling. So based on everything that you told me, I have a company that you're going to qualify for by the name of, that should be around the 30 to 35 minute range, I would say. Your quote should be around 40 minutes. About 40 minutes in. That's an ideal presentation. Okay? That's a presentation that between hello to what's your health, you got a 25-minute span right there. That's enough to tell them what it's about, verify the information on file, build some rapport, and identify what their needs and whys are, and have a conversation. The only time that this should be longer than that is if you're doing a policy review prior to health. Make sense? That's the only time a call should be longer than that, is doing a policy review before the house. Okay? Those are your ideal time frames, and that's for everybody that you want to try to stick around. If you're 20 minutes in giving quotes, you're going to get a sale few and far between. Very few and far between. Because in order to close a deal at 20 minutes in, you have to be one of the best agents at SLS. And even them, what happens is they will close a lot of deals, but their quality's trash. Right? 30%, 20% quality, because all they're doing is throwing numbers all day against the wall. Somebody's biting, but then what happens the next day? Buyer's remorse. And do you think that representative having a 20-minute conversation has enough rapport built with that client to keep them on the books?
Nope.
Probably not. Do you think that person is going to remember that person in a week after they've already canceled? Probably not.
No.
They had a 20-minute conversation with somebody they never met before. They don't care about you. They probably don't even remember your name. Right? That lady helped me get a policy. Not, oh, blank helped me get a policy. It's you're going to be that lady or that guy. Make sense? So
Yep.
quoting too fast, that's what's going to happen. Having too long of a conversation, again, we've already discussed, it's going to have too much of a friendship, not enough of a business relationship. Remember, you're not here to take your clients out for beers on a Friday night. You don't want a personal relationship. You want a business relationship with them. I am your agent. Yes, you can get to know me. Yes, I can get to know you, but on a business level. Make sense?
By the way.
The only thing I have is restless leg.
Restless leg? Oh, perfect.
Yeah, that's it.
Restless leg. Do you take any meds for that?
Yes, with Cineroll.
Okay. Okay. Anything else?
No.
That's it? Awesome.
Mhm.
Okay. So, and before, I'm going to go off on a tangent here real quick. How's your son? I mean, what kind of medical issues does he have?
Oh, he didn't have any till he got shot.
Oh, no, I thought you said he had some issues from being shot.
Yeah, but yeah, he had no problems until he got shot. But he's, I mean, he still works. He's, you know, not ambulatory or anything. Or
That's good.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he still works, you know, for the city, for the water department, and he's a tough cookie.
That's good. Okay, well, I'm going to give you some options here. I think I found a good carrier here for you out of 15. I think this is the best one that we have. Have you ever heard of Pioneer Security?
No.
Okay, they're actually under another company called American Amicable. So they've both been around over 100 years. They pay out millions of dollars every single month to families. So they're highly rated A+, because of they do such a good job. They actually pay out within a couple of days. So most of these, I don't know if you've heard of a lot of these insurance companies, places that if you were to pass, you have to make sure that there's no hanky-panky, all that stuff. So they normally take like 3 to 4 weeks. You know. Well, in our all of our products or our plans, it takes about 2 days for you to get the money. So if you were to pass, you know, then your son would be the one that would get that within 2 days and take care of all the you know, all of your final arrangements. Okay. Now, do you know the difference between a whole life insurance and a term life insurance, Miss Melody?
No.
Okay. The term life insurance is exactly what it says. It terminates.
Okay. One thing that you'll notice in your presentation here, there's a lot of uhs and ums. Right?
Yep.
Makes it so I don't know how this does on a client side, but when a professional hears that, what I hear or what you would hear is you may not know where you're going next. Right? And the reason for that is because right here you're not following the script.
Yeah, because I forgot about that part. I'm going, oh shoot, I forgot. So I just like winged it at that point.
Well, what's happening is you're jumping around and you're hitting key pieces of information without actually spending time on it, right? So this was 1:10. We finished, or 1:10, or 1:11. I'm sorry. We stopped talking to her about that. We started going into, or 1:10. We stopped talking about her son and we went into, have you ever heard of Pioneer? Okay. In these 2 minutes, you have touched on A-rated, been in business for however long. Trying to think of everything else that you've said, but there's been a lot, you know, payout within 48 hours, right? There's been a lot touched on without much information on any of it.
Yeah.
Right? It's a bunch of stuff being said, but nothing really meaning anything, if that makes sense, guys. So, and I notice a lot of agents do this in their presentation side. It's like that they forget the script is there and they just start rambling stuff off as its features and benefits, but without actually spending time on it.
Yeah, I was like trying to
When
put together the benefits, company, and all that, all into a short.
it's basically like you're reading a bulletin,
Yeah,
right? It has A-rated, payout within 48 hours, right? Which these are all things that matter the most. This is what the client's actually buying. If anything, this should take the most time. Does that make sense, guys? Because this is what they're actually
the
purchasing,
benefits.
the benefits and the features. So what I would do, and this is what I do on every phone call, I read this script, and this is how my close goes. Based on everything that you qualify for, I have a company that's a perfect fit for you by the name of Pioneer Security Life. Just to make sure I'm understanding you correctly, I recap their needs every single time. Same thing on every single phone call. I recap their needs. And then I go, does that sound about right? Yes, it does. Perfect. Just so you know, all of our programs pay out within 48 hours of your passing. That means that your family will not have to wait weeks or months to get the claim paid. Also, anybody that gets a living will before the end of the month gets a free living will and a final wishes planning guide that you can take up to the bank, get it notarized, and that way your voice and your choices can be heard after you've passed on. For any of you guys looking at your script, did I say pretty much exactly what those paragraphs are? And I'm not looking at my script, I promise you. I'm staring at Rico and then everybody at the top. Promise you I'm not looking at my script. I say it every single time to where I could close my eyes, turn around and stare out this window, as many of you guys have probably seen me do on your SBC calls, and spill the presentation word for word. There are three things that I skip on the presentation that I'm very conscious of that I skip that you guys should not. I skip them just to save myself a little bit of time in the presentation so I can get on the next SBC. I skip the A-rated with Senior Life Services and Pioneer. Okay, I can still read those verbatim if anybody wants to hear it, but I can say both of those paragraphs word for word. And then the other thing I skipped is the cash value. I skipped three things to save myself about 3 minutes in the presentation so I can try to get that close, get to the objections, handle the objections, and get on to the next call. But every single paragraph, I hit it. And these plans, this is a whole life plan. What that means is your rates will never go up and your benefits will never decrease regardless what happens to your health or age. It stays with you your whole life. And that's what you want, isn't it? Perfect. With your policy also comes a terminal illness benefit. What that means, Miss Jones, is God forbid you're ever diagnosed with a terminal illness and your doctor gives you between 12 to 24 months to live. Pioneer would advance your family the entire death benefit before you pass. Pretty cool, right? Right. Okay, I'll add in day one coverage. So this policy is day one coverage. What that means is, God forbid, if you were to pass away, even after making one single payment, right? But I'm hitting every feature, every benefit in order, exactly how it is on the script. And the reason that I do that, it's not because I don't know what features and benefits. I could do them out of order. But what's going to happen is I'm going to mess myself up and it's not going to be consistent. And if it's not consistent, I'm not going to get good at it. Following me? And this goes
Yep.
for everybody. You got to be consistent with saying one thing after the next, after the next, after the next, so you can close your eyes, turn around, and grab a drink of soda while you're doing this, right? You should be able to do this with a 3-year-old running around your room yelling at you without looking at the script, literally doing this, watching him pull the dog's tail and still being able to do it at the same time. That's how good I want you guys to get at this, by just saying it, repetition, repetition, repetition. When you get that down, that's when the true success starts coming. All right. Again, you're very good. You sound amazing. Your tonality, key point. Just you're skipping over them way too quick and reading them as their bulletins and not having a set process, which is causing the ums and uhs and the hesitations
Yeah,
on
I,
where you're
I, I
going.
tend to do that because I realize when my presentation gets too long, I get tired myself mentally. So I was like, oh, skip, and I a whole bunch of things, kind of run into each other, like the benefits, all that stuff, and at that point, I just throw them all together. So yeah, I need to stick to this timeline. And as much as I like to talk myself, as you realize, I need to kind of learn how to cut them off to uncut myself off. So
Agreed. Agreed. All right, so let's listen to the last few minutes of
Nate.
this.
All right, meaning that they actually want you to terminate your policy later in life, so they never have to pay out. So they just collect money from you all these years, and then they terminate it on you. So you could be 80, 85, and at that point you won't have a life insurance. I hate that stuff. But anyway,
Yeah.
Okay, this is a good point too. There's a lot of good stuff on this phone call. So I even catch myself doing this from time to time again. Every time I do it, I end up probably losing the sale. If I had to calculate, probably 4 out of 5 times I'll lose the sale because of this. I'm giving too much information that doesn't relate to the policy. Okay, I'm trying to compare to other policies. So what I'll do is, Miss Jones, you qualify for day one coverage. Now, because of your health, other companies might put you in a graded death benefit. What that means is, and I start going on about a graded death benefit when I'm offering a day one coverage product. I didn't even have to mention that. I'm mentioning it to try to build more value on what I'm offering, but it actually ends up hindering me because I'm just spewing out information at this time. And if you're not trained to hear this, right? If you were never done life insurance before, all of this information may be way too much for you to comprehend in a one single phone call, right? A lot of us did 40-hour courses for this. A lot of us have been through a week of training with Justin, myself, Zach, Nate, Marquise, and Steven, right? We've led you guys up to understanding this. If you're on one single phone call with a person and you try to explain all this, it can be very, very, very
yeah,
confusing.
you're right.
Too much information, which is going to cause a what? If somebody's
Confusing.
confused, what are they going to say at the end? Let me think about it.
Yeah, when they're confused, they won't think
Yep.
about it.
So avoid giving needless information that doesn't pertain to what you're offering. And again, I'm even guilty of this in myself. Sometimes I do it, and when I notice I do it, it usually doesn't work out the way that I wanted to.
Yeah, my thought process is sometimes I like to, maybe that's why I ramble too much, is I like to plant the seed, so to speak, so we can get back to it later, and hopefully they'll make that decision. But I think that's probably wrong. It worked for me when I was selling life insurance. I mean, not insurance, real estate, because it's a longer process. The escrow is 30 days long. Something like this is so much shorter. I can't do that. I'm realizing that more and more.
I think you hit the nail on the head. I agree with that wholeheartedly. And again, I'm guilty of it myself. I make those same mistakes. So this is even good for me to hear to go, okay, don't do that on a phone call. Try to avoid that. Don't give information that doesn't pertain to what you're offering. Sell what you're offering. Sell the solution to their problem, and that is it. Okay?
that's the term. What we have is whole life, meaning that it lasts you your whole life. All right. What that means is that whatever you and I talked about today, whatever you decide to get approved for, whatever it is that today will stay the same all the way until you die. All right. Never goes up, never goes down, so always stay the same. Oh, by the way, do you all our carriers actually give you a discount based on how you manage your finances?
So notice what we're doing here again,
Yep.
right? We're going back to something that we missed earlier on, and that's begin because we're jumping around too much,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Great phone call, and I think this is a beautiful training for everybody here because everybody here is guilty of this, is skipping a step and then going, oh shoot,
Yep.
I didn't ask him if they had a bank account.
And how you pay your bills. I don't need any specific information right now, but do you have an active checking or savings account?
Yes.
Okay. Checking or savings?
Savings.
Savings? Okay. Yeah, they actually give you a discount based on, with that. So that's good. Okay. So, and again, one other thing that like the, oh, by the way, do you have a will, Melody?
No.
No? Okay. Actually, any plan that you get with us, you will get a free living will. All you have to do is fill that out, and then you sign it in front of the notary. The notary will sign it in front of you, and once that's done, it's legally enforceable by law. Okay? So you'll get a free will. You also get a free final wishes planning guide. And then, do you have a pet?
Yes.
Okay. On your prescriptions too. So what you're going to get a free prescription card, and a free prescription card will help you save on your prescriptions for you and your entire family, including pets. So if you buy any medicine for your pets, you can get savings on that too. Sound good?
Handsome, you're going to get a card.
There you go. We had two German Shepherds, one just passed, so now we're looking for another one. At least we have one still. All right, so we have a whole life. You are in Oklahoma. And then female, you are 72. You are not a smoker, thank goodness. Going
I
with
quit when they were
premium.
96 cents.
That's what you said. That's so funny. Preferred. All right. So, have you thought about what you wanted done in terms of do you want a cremation or a funeral when you pass? Have you thought about that?
No, not really.
Okay.
I told my son, you got 5 acres, Bill. Dig a hole and put me in it. He's like, yeah, then I'll go to jail, man. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, there you go. I know sooner or later. What is this bone? It happens to be a dog that finds you.
You start thinking, yeah, and one of his dogs drags up my skull or something. And goes to,
I get in trouble. That's funny. Well, the reason why I asked that is because you're looking at around 3,000 to 5,000 for a cremation. You have to take care of that. And then depending on how elaborate you want your funeral to be, you could, basic around 8 to 11,000. Basic 10,000 policy should get done for you. So if you want to be more elaborate, maybe you want to go 15 or maybe 20. It also depends if you want to leave something for your son or for your family, okay, as a gift. So that's up to you. Is that something that you're wanting to do, or?
Well, I would prefer. It would be nice if I could leave something, and I certainly don't care about any elaborate.
Okay. Well, let's play around with some numbers. How's that? So on the left side there of the paper that you have there, let's start with 20,000, and then we can go in between, up or down. You tell me. Okay. Now, are you familiar with what an accidental death benefit is, Miss Melody?
Why not? I didn't commit suicide.
No, it's not. So let's say you get a $20,000 policy. Okay, so if you were to die via natural cause, then your son or whoever your beneficiary is would get $20,000, right? However, if you were to pass via an accident, you fall off a ladder, you choke, you get hit by a car, that actually doubles to $40,000. And there's an extra cost, for like about $3 to $5. But in terms of how much it kicks back, it's kind of worth it to a lot of people. Do you want me to add that or not?
And what was the difference in the price?
All right. Stop giving the option of accidental death benefit, right?
Just do it,
You're
right?
the expert. Make a recommendation, right? Your doctor doesn't go, do you want the Lexapro? Would you rather the Abilify?
So you just go ahead and add it and
your policy comes with an accidental death benefit. What that means is, God forbid you ever pass of an accident, Miss Jones, the amount of money your family will receive will double. Okay, hopefully that never happens, but they do call them accidents for a reason, right? Okay, perfect. Next, right? Bam, bam, bam.
If you save that for the loop, where it says to point out another feature or something like that, the description of the accidental death.
Mm-hmm. So one thing that I've noticed on this phone call is no needs analysis, right? And the reason that I can say that is because we're asking her if she wants a funeral or a cremation right before we give her a quote. Okay? So where this should have happened is in your fact finding, you should have said, hey, do you want a funeral or cremation? Are we looking to leave money behind for a loved one, or are we looking to leave money behind for a gift or a charity? Right? Everybody knows that part of the script, agreed? The 3 sections. We should know this already, not before we get to the quote. Okay? So 2 things, Rico, before we finish up this call that I think everybody can gain from, but mainly this is for you, is
stick to the script.
Well, 3 things. Stick to the script. That's key. Okay? Know where you're going next. Second thing is shorten your rapport building. Okay? So let's go back to 2. Those are the 2 things I want you to take away from this. Shorten your rapport building. Stick to your script. Make it to where if I asked you, could you repeat this call? You should say, yeah, I could repeat it. All I did was read from the script. All I got to do is just read you the script to get Josh, and I'll repeat it, right? I want you to be able to repeat it no matter whose phone call it is. So you should be able to do the exact same thing no matter what call it is. Okay?
Yeah, I did follow the script
also,
until a certain point, and after that, it just went haywire.
Yeah. So the way I like to think of it is like this. If you pull any call that I've closed, and you say, and you pick any spot in the close, any spot, I can go, okay, I can tell you what I said right before this. I can also tell you what I'm going to say right after this. I know exactly what's going to be said. When I ask for application information, right? Before we had the script that has, okay, verify their name, verify their address, verify the doctor, right? If let's say I forgot to write down the social. If I went back to my call and I heard I was gathering banking, I didn't have to go any farther back because I knew as soon as I got done banking, my very next question on every phone call was the exact same. And what's your social? So all I had to do was find that spot and I could find the information I was looking for by listening to my call recording. Does that make sense what I'm saying, guys? You should be able to hit a spot in your call recording and go, oh, I know what I said right before this, and I know what I said right after this. I need to either go forward or behind to gather this information that I want to gather. Think of it like that, and what happens is you'll start following that script and know exactly where you're at and where you're heading. It'll help tremendously in your closes and your whole call, really. Laura, I'm going to get to your question. Write it down for me. I want to finish this phone call, and we'll answer questions.
Here, let me just add that in. I'll tell you the difference. Okay, so do me a favor. On the left side there, write down 25,000, 20,000, and then 15,000, and then 10,000, and then just go with those for now. Ready?
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna give you the pricing first with the accidental death benefit, and then if you want to know how much it is without, then let me know and I can give you that as well. So for 25,000, okay, let's just say you decide to have a funeral, 10,000 will go towards that. So I mean that leaves 15,000 for your son, and maybe you can keep it or give it to your grandkids or grandkids. Okay, so at 25,000, you're looking at 194 a month. Okay. If you decide to just go with 20,000, again, 10,000 towards your funeral, 10,000 for your son or to your grandkids, you're looking at 157 a month.
Really good job in your quote, breaking it down, explaining what each benefit's going to do. It's exactly what you should be doing when you're quoting. That sounds beautiful. Perfect.
All right. And if you go 15,000, again, minus 10, covers all the basics, $5,000 to your son, you're looking at 119 a month.
All right, and the
10,000?
No, the 15,000 is what?
119 a month.
Okay.
And then for 10,000, just the basic covers the basics, no extras. Now you're looking at $81 a month. Which of those would you like to know how much without the accidental death benefit?
Well, let me know both. So when I talk to my friend about this.
Okay, so start at 25,000. This is without, right next to it. Okay. So 25,000 will be 180.
Right.
The 20,000 will be 145.
Right.
15,000 is 110. And then for 10,000 it'll be 75. So again, without the death benefit, what happens is, if you were to pass, then your whatever you pick, 20,000, 25,000, it doubles.
All right, repeat it. It doubles.
Correct. Yeah. For instance, like if you were to get a $25,000 policy, okay, if you get a one without the accidental death benefit, it's only 180 a month. See that?
Okay.
Right? If you were to go with a 194 a month, okay, that includes the accidental death benefit. That's the one that if you were to pass via an accident, that 25,000 also will go to 50,000 that your son would get for just that extra, $14.
Okay.
So that's how the accidental death benefit works.
Accidental. So I have here 25,000, and then it says 15, 10,000, and it says 194 a month. That's the accidental.
Correct.
Okay, and the 20,000 is
156 a month, or 157 a month.
157, yeah.
And then without it, it's 145.
Okay, then the next was 119.
The 119, and then without is 110.
Okay.
And then for the 10,000, it's $81 a month with $75 a month without. Now this one, the reason why I picked this one too is that they, if you want to go with a little bit extra, the same product, they have what's called a concierge program. That if you want to add it, if not, it's okay. You can stick with this here. But they have one. This particular plan has an option for just a few more dollars a month. It's about 7% more actually. What it is it's called a concierge. And you can just put a note if you want this or not. And what the concierge is that have you ever had to plan a wedding or a funeral, Ms. Melody?
No, just my own wedding.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so, so it's a lot of running parts that goes into it, right? And so if you do the same thing planning a funeral, there's a lot that goes into it, okay? The planning, the picking of the funeral homes, as well as the casket, the tombstone, the plot, and all that stuff. There's a lot that goes into it. Well, and especially, at that point, most likely your son probably pretty emotional too. Everest will actually take over and do all of that for him. And, again, for having this, and it would include also planning the transportation of the body. Things like that, as well as the service. So they do it all for him, and at the same time, try to call around to as many places as they can, so they can save up to 20 to 40% on the entire cost. That's what the concierge does. So that's an option. Just looking at the one with the accidental death right there, and just add probably like another 7% to it. Just in case, if it's something you want to consider. It's just an add-on. It's just an add-on.
Well, I have it all written down here.
Okay. Which one are you kind of leaning towards?
Well, like I say, I have to talk with my son first.
Sure. Yeah, I totally understand. And that's what you said in the beginning. So.
Yeah, and I have this written,
Okay. Which one are you leaning though? Which one are you leaning towards? Like which one do you lean toward? You want to? Let's say if you were to decide to have your son might say it's still cremation. If you do that, then there's only 5,000. You'll leave a little bit more money for him and for your grandkids. So just kind of want to have an idea of which one kind of your thoughts are kind of heading.
Like I say, I really haven't thought about it, but being a Christian, I'm dead. I don't care. But I don't I'm gonna drop dead on being in heaven 5 minutes later. So
there you go.
But yeah, I will definitely talk with him and see what he says.
Okay. Yeah, but I think about what you want to do too, information or funeral, things like that. That'll probably help you pick which option to go with. And then of course, just depends on how much you want to give your son or to your grandkids as well. And it's always good. I mean, right now if I give you $1,000, it probably doesn't mean much. But if you were to give $1,000 to your grandkids, well, thank you.
Yeah. No, your parents can take care of this.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just throwing it out there what you might want to do with the lump sum that you choose.
Yeah. Well, you have my number.
All right. So obviously that close didn't go the way that we wanted it to, right?
Yep. I didn't even try.
There's 2 reasons that close didn't go the way you wanted it to. 1, the needs analysis wasn't done, which means that there's not a big enough why there for her to make a decision today on the phone. Can you close her? Absolutely. You have enough rapport with her at this point where you call her back, she probably will pick up. Right?
I do have it set to call her back.
Yeah. So chances are, if she buys, she's probably going to buy it from you. Realistically speaking, you guys had a good conversation together. She's going to remember your name, right? You're not just going to be that guy. Okay. The 2 things that caused this call not to be closed right then, the biggest one
is the why.
I would say the why. And the reason that I say that is because she said something very particular on this call that raised my ears very, very high as soon as she said it. She said, my son has 5 acres. He can just bury me in the backyard. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
He has 5 acres. He could just bury me back there, right? That to me means that she doesn't care. Agreed?
Yeah, you're right.
So soon as I hear something like that, I go, okay, this lady's urgency level is 0. There's no urgency for them to make a decision on this phone call at all. So before I continue this conversation, I need to address that. Say, I hear that all the time, Mr. Rico. You'd be surprised how many people don't care about being put in a 55-gallon drum out back and burned. It's crazy to me that people feel like that. Now, let me ask you, do you think your son would be okay doing that to you? He probably wouldn't care. Okay. Now, I want to ask you a very serious question. God forbid your son passed before you. Would you be okay putting him in a 55-gallon drum and burning him? Would you be okay taking his body back there and burying him? No, I wouldn't. Flip the script on them. Okay? Because if they're not okay doing it to them, then it's not fair for them to ask them to do it to them. I know I said them a lot, but I think you guys understood what I was saying there, right?
Yeah.
If the mom's not okay doing it to the son, it's not fair of the mom to ask the son to do it to her. Followed me?
Yep.
But that was a very important statement that she said that we all heard. He has 5 acres. He could bury me in the backyard. The need is not there. There's no urgency. She doesn't care. She probably won't even talk to him, to be honest with you. Just because the urgency's not there. She doesn't have a why. Instead, what we could have done is figured that out 20 minutes into the phone call, right, where the needs analysis is, addressed it, and if the need still wasn't there, if she still didn't care, pivoted, and now focused on the grandkids and said, how would it feel to be able to leave money behind for the grandkids? Let's establish a solid foundation of a why before we continue the conversation to offer something that we don't even know if they really want or care about at that point. Make sense? And the reason that I say that is because people will let you talk. Just because they will let you talk does not make them a buyer. Okay? Everybody understand that. Just because somebody lets you talk to them all the way to a close does not mean that they want to buy the insurance from you. They may just like you as a person. The second reason that this call didn't go through, that's the big part, right? That's the hoorah, this is why. The second part is because there was so much rapport built right here, you couldn't have pushed her into a close regardless if you wanted to or not. You couldn't have said nothing on this phone call to make that call go through, to push, because as soon as you would have changed your personality,
My tone.
from friendly guy to
Pushy
pushy agent.
salesman.
You think she was going to buy from you regardless? Not going to happen.
Yeah.
Not going to happen. So set the tone for the whole call, how you plan on being at the end.
Yep.
Very direct, open, honest, and tell them how it is. You need to be the person that's like, right, your doctor doesn't beat around the bush. He builds rapport with you. He knows who you are. You guys shoot the stuff back and forth for those of the kids that are listening, but you shoot the stuff back and forth, right? But he's still going to tell you how it is. He's going to say, you have this. This is what you need to do to fix this. You need to quit smoking. You need to lose weight. You need to do this, right? And he's going to tell you exactly how it is. But he kind of has that same mentality the whole time you're in the doctor's office. It's not like it comes out of nowhere like, Doc, what do you mean I need to lose weight? You just popped open a beer with me, man. What are you telling me I need to stop drinking for, right? It doesn't come out of the blue. You know it's coming, and you don't look at him any differently because he did that all of a sudden. Those are the two reasons. Fix that. Your sales are going to be through the roof, Rico. Through the roof.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right, so let's open it up to some questions. I know Laura and then Miss Samet. So let me go Laura, and then I see your hand as well, Miss Samet.
Yeah, one of the things that struck me was that if somebody wants to sell me something, I don't want them to be my friend. And I thought Rico was trying so hard to gain some rapport with her that he became her friend during the course of that conversation. The other thing was, and it may have been the recording itself, but it seemed like he was talking very fast.
I had it on 2x speed.
That's why it was, because I thought, man, I can't I can't listen as fast as you can talk. but that explains it. And I wondered if you had messed with this, or not messed with it, but changed the speed. That's good.
Yeah, I put it on 2 speed so we could get through it and so I could listen to key points of it. Great question.
I gotcha.
Miss Masamet.
Oh, no, I was gonna ask, can you give few word the way they said, I have money on my bank, no need the insurance.
Yeah, so you need to, so if somebody has money in their bank, you need to identify a few different things. One, what is that money for, right? So, hey, congratulations on having so much saved up. Most Americans live week to week or month to month, so the fact that you're able to save up some money is a huge accomplishment. Congratulations on that, Miss Masamet. Now, I want to ask you, that money that you have saved up, is that the same money that you would use if you needed to get a new roof for $15,000 and insurance wouldn't cover it?
Oh, okay.
And if you did, would you still have enough at the end of the day to cover your final expenses?
Yeah, that question come up. Like a lot of clients, they did mention this, and also the emotional way how you mentioned with the like putting the body and the backyard. It could be the similar way to answer like the emotionally.
Yeah, by putting them in their shoes, right? Would you be
Yeah.
okay doing that to them?
Okay.
Right? Every time I've ever said that to a client, their whole tonality has changed on the conversation. They go from being that stuck-up person, like, they can just bury me in the backyard, I don't care. Would you be okay doing that to them if they pass tomorrow? No, I wouldn't. Okay. And then immediately it shifts, and then they actually start being interested in what you're talking about.
Okay.
Great question, Ms. Ahmed. Malik.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I apologize. I was trying to get a cell while the meeting was going on. You know, I had to get a woman on the phone, so I did want to talk about that because I had to set an appointment. I couldn't get her closed down, and I was trying to go through the what do you call this? The
loop.
Yeah, the loop. Yeah. Okay. So when I was going through the loop, and I get down to where you ask them if if you're a beneficiary or if I had your mom or your dad get this. Okay. So when I got to that point, I mean, she was telling me that, she wouldn't be asking me, to think about it, but she really had to look at her finances. But she was sounding sincere that she really, wanted to, continue this conversation, but I just couldn't get her to commit. I went from 25,000 because she wanted to at least leave 50. Well, she has 4 kids. She wanted to leave 10,000 apiece, so she can only qualify for 25,000 max on the ROP. So I went down to 10, and I was trying to, get her to bite. And then my question, I just get confused on this part. Like, help your mom or your dad get this before you pass. It's just like the way that you ask the question. I
Yeah.
would say, the way that
So
I would
you
have to,
so so this is basically what that is saying. It's saying, so Mr. Malik, if your son came to you and he said,
mm,
"Dad, I need this in place.
okay.
Without this, I'm going to struggle. Would you please get life insurance on your life so I can bury you properly? Please, Dad, would you do that
Okay,
for
I'm gonna
me?"
have to write that
You
down.
probably wouldn't tell your son, "Let me think
I have it
about it."
recorded, Malik.
You tell him, "I'll do it right now." Am I right?
I got you. Okay.
And then they're like, "Well, yeah, I would." Okay. And then if it's still down to budget, there's two things that you can do. One, you can do a budget breakdown with them. But before you do that, just say, "Well, okay, so I understand that it's budget. If it was $25, would you do it?"
Okay.
"Yeah, of course I would." "If you could afford it, would you do it?" "Of course I would." "Okay, so let's figure out how we can get it to that point. Because my job is to put something in front of you that you don't even have to think about. My job is to put something in front of you that
Okay.
you can make a payment on every month and it not even cross your mind, and you know that you're covered.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I like
allow me
that
the opportunity
delivery.
to do that.
I like that delivery better because I'm reading this off the page and
Yep.
I'm getting tripped up. I just have to deliver it stronger with more authority. Okay. But you said it a little bit different. I think someone said they have it on recording.
Yeah, I do.
Rico does.
Oh, you
But
do?
but
Okay.
but
Yeah,
that's
I'll send you
that's
the
the
link.
gist.
All right,
That's
appreciate it.
the gist of what it's saying, right?
Right.
So were you reading it off of the script or off your rebuttals page? Off the script, right?
Yeah, off the script. I printed it out, so I have it in front of
Okay.
me.
So the rebuttals page says it a little bit better. So if you
Okay.
go to the rebuttals page, it says it like this. Now, let me ask you this. If John came to you and asked you if you would do this for him to help him with the cost of your final arrangements when you pass, you probably wouldn't tell him, "Let me think about it." You'd be saying, "Where do I sign up?" Am I right? So it's
Okay.
worded a little bit better
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the rebuttals page than it is on the script, because the
Okay.
way it is on the script is a little confusing for myself as well. So I
Right.
just kind of took the gist of it and say what I need to say, what it's supposed to be, right? Which is, if
Okay.
they asked you to do this for them, you would not tell them you need to think about it. You would tell them, "Of course I'll do it." Am I right?
Okay. Yeah, I like the way that flows a lot better than what I was reading.
Yeah. And then
Okay.
if they're like, "No, I probably wouldn't," that's when you go, wait a second, Mr. Malik. You mean to tell me if John came to you and asked you to help him with this, you wouldn't?
Right. Okay.
Right? That's the give me the break tone. And they're
Okay.
like, "No, I wouldn't." Then I did something wrong and I wasted mine and your time today. Is this something that you see value in? Yes or no? Give me a clear yes or no, a yay or a nay. Either way, I'm fine with it. Is this something that you want to do to protect your son? No, click.
Right. Okay.
Right? On to the
All
next.
right.
Because if they say no to that, you're not going to sell
I got you.
them. Great question.
I
Nathan.
appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
So my question is, what about the people that say they're on Social Security or SSI or whatever, and they can't have but so much money, and they don't want to commit because they don't want to get in trouble with the government?
Yep. So that's Medicaid. So with Medicaid legally, for those of you that don't know this, it's a very good question. For Medicaid, you cannot have more than $1,500 in cash value on a life insurance policy, because then it's considered an asset and they will cancel or decrease your Medicaid. Very important to know, right? So the way around that is you make somebody else the owner.
You mean total value can't be more than 1,500?
Cash value.
Cash value.
cash value.
Okay, so if you were to get something, say 10,000, but there's no cash value to it, then they should be fine, right? Because it's
A
gonna take
term
a while
policy.
to get that cash value up.
Yeah, so a term policy doesn't have cash value, wouldn't count, right? It's only cash value. Every whole life has cash value. So
But it
once
takes
they
a while
reach,
for it to build.
it does. But the easier way around that is just make somebody else the owner, because then it's not their cash value, it's the owner's cash value.
I got you.
Yep.
So we
So I
would
would
do the application in someone else's name,
Nope,
or
it's still under the insured's name. Just
okay,
somebody else is the owner, right?
Somebody's just
So I
making the
would say
payment,
okay,
Nathan.
not even making the
got you.
payment, just the owner. They can still be the payer. They can still make their own payments on the policy. They just need to make somebody else the owner. So there's key pieces. Four. There's four key pieces to a life insurance policy. You have the insured, the person that the life insurance policy is on. If they die, XYZ gets the death benefit, right? That is the insured. Then you have the beneficiary. This is the person that's going to receive the proceeds when the insured dies. Make sense? Then you have the payer, the person that is making the premium payments on the policy. And lastly, you have the owner. The owner is the only person that can make a change to that policy. They are the person that can call the insurance company and go, remove XYZ as the beneficiary, put this person. Increase the premium payments to 20,000 instead of 15, right? They can do that. The owner can do that without the payer or the insured's knowledge. Following me? The owner is the person that oversees and can make all changes. Typically in our line of work, the insured, the owner, and the payer are all the same person, typically. But in situations like that, Nathan, you would make the son the owner, the mom is the insured and the payer, and then the son is also the beneficiary. So you have the son as the beneficiary and owner, the mom is the insured and the payer.
Okay, got you.
Yep, and that eliminates any Medicaid issues. Stop. No more. All right. Very, very good training, I think, tonight. I think this helps a lot of people coming into tomorrow. A lot of very, very, very good stuff if you guys took notes and wrote it down and actually apply it. Does anybody else have any questions about what we covered tonight? Any questions about the call, how you could handle it differently? Any questions whatsoever? Omar.
So, in terms of rapport building, how do you help break people who are being super dry? Like the people are just like, uh-huh, yeah. Like when you try to get them to open up.
Two ways to do that. Three. You have to find out what they like. There's a story about an agent that I had. You guys have probably heard this before. His name was Raymond LaQuinte. He worked for me for a while. And this guy that he was on the phone with was dry, dry, dry. Raymond mentioned motorcycles, and this dude lit up like the 4th of July. He would not stop talking. We actually had to cut him off to get him back on track after being so dry. And it was just one word. It was motorcycles. Do you ride motorcycles? Right? And that's because that's what Raymond was into. That leads me to the second thing. Share information about yourself. People are actually genuinely curious. So if you ask a question and they don't give you the answer that you're looking for, if you can share something about yourself on based on the question that you are asking, you'd be surprised how much they want to relate and then share something about themselves. Okay. And then lastly, make them laugh. You get somebody laughing, they're more willing to actually have a conversation with you, right? Are you married, divorced, widowed, or single? Oh, I'm divorced. Man, I knew you sounded happy for a reason. Is that what I need to do? Right? Get them to laugh. Make a joke. Corny jokes always work. Does that help?
There, thank you.
Yes, sir. All right. Who's next?
Yeah, that quick question.
Mm-hmm.
So are we doing this training, I guess, like every night? Are we going to be doing this?
I would love to. Chances are I don't want to make a promise that I can't commit
No,
to.
no, I understand.
I would love to though. If we could do this every night, we would be a frickin' rock star of a team because we could literally hone down on everybody's skill set and just listen to a call a night and just break it down. I will do my best. If
Well,
you
yeah,
guys could remind me, but this also falls onto all of you as well, and let me tell
right,
you why that is. If it comes to 6:50 and we're doing a training at 7, you got to be able to realize if you're on a call at 6:30 or 6:40 or 6:50, you're going to have to be willing to do it on your own because I'm going to be taken away to do this
right,
training, and that goes for everybody, right?
right,
So if the trainings are to continue, that's something that you have to make a mental note of and not go, "Oh, I'm not going to dial from 6 to 7 just in case I get on a phone call," right? That's not the right attitude to have. The right attitude is to have is, hey, if I get somebody on the phone at 6:45, I may need to do it on my own in practice. You guys following me?
right,
Yep.
But that's what helps these trainings. But if I got 15 people going, I need an SVC and it's 6:46, it's like, do I do a
right, right,
training to help 10 or do I hop on as many as I can and help close some deals, especially when we're lower for the day? And that's the last thing. AP makes a big factor into this. Today, AP was low, but I had told you guys this morning we were going to do a training and I wanted to hold up to it. I'd much rather would have us all stayed on the phone and me try to help close deals for an extra hour. If AP is at 20K come 6, 7 o'clock, then it gives us a little bit of cushion like, okay, 15 out of the 20 or 15 out of the 40 were able to get a sale today. It makes it a little bit like, okay, I don't want to, I can feel better taking an hour away from y'all's phone calls. Make sense? Not even
right.
for myself, but really for y'all.
Yeah, and I apologize for because I was on that call and I really just training slipped my mind, so I came in very late.
That's
But
okay.
yeah, I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. So for those of you that hit your targets and you're heading home for the night, have a great night. If you have not hit your targets, I suggest not going home and hitting those targets. That's the only way to be successful at this. You got to put in those late nights. Sometimes it sucks. Believe me, I know I did it many, many times. But I will be here. I will have my phone on me to answer any questions. I will be available. So let's either hit the phones or go home. On the count of 3, let's head out. Well, actually, we're out all in SBC money. So let's go right back to dialing, guys. Let's have a good night.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Got you guys. I got you. The app should have.